It's just like Chrome, just as good as Chrome.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
All right, Elliot, go ahead.
I use DuckDuckGo.
Ready, Elliot?
It's on, dude. Welcome, Nerd fans, to the latest S&M production of the Sunday Night Sports Nerd Show. It is the most absurd 90 minutes of anything goes, smack talk, and a whole lot more. Every Sunday night, the Sports Nerd joins forces with his maniac co-host, who are a select group of sports nerds with attitude that are known in Nerd Nation as the Rant Pack. These are four of the most foul-mouthed, shit-talking nerds, spitting some sick rips and rants, just enough to make you piss your pants. So listen up, Nerd Nation. Rise and welcome the legend himself. He is the founder, he is the host, and he is the star of the Sports Nerd Show. Coming to you live, straight out of Lakeland, Florida, Scott, the Sports Nerd. Right.
What's going on, fellas? How we doing tonight? Got John back in the mix from home sweet home in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. As he may not call it that, but that's okay. He's here.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You are correct. Yes. And Elliot he's here, but he's off camera, but that's okay. He's here. And of course, there he is, Elliot Big Llama, ducking below the camera. Here you go. And of course, our buddy Ken. Gentlemen, how was your week? Anything? I mean, I know John spent most of it on the road. You got home Tuesday night, John?
Around 6 o'clock Tuesday. So then been sitting here waiting for the stuff to get here. We're sitting on the floor.
Really?
None of our furniture is here, so it's exciting. And to top it all off, it's unprecedented heat, the hottest this place has ever seen in the history of mankind. And
right.
It's hot.
Yeah, that's a Northwest thing right now.
Yeah. But hey, I'm here. I'm alive. No complaints.
And that's
I got good water. I got good high quality H2O.
H2O.
Mixed drink of the gods.
Yeah, happy 4th to you Yankees.
Yeah, happy 4th, everyone.
Thank you.
And to everyone watching.
Yeah, the
Happy Canada Day 3 days ago.
Well, it was canceled, so we weren't allowed to have Canada stuff.
I heard.
City of Lakeland had their fireworks last night, a great big boom, and then they're only a mile from downtown where they blow them off. So it was pretty loud here last night between 9 and 9:30. But I'm not a big fireworks guy, never have been. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
We had ours at 9:30 last night. So
I need to get with you on Vim, John, because for some reason it's not broadcasting to Vim. I'm having issues. I don't know what it is. I mean, I think I've got all the settings right and everything, but it's not working. He walked away. Okay.
Yeah, we lost John.
He's still there. He just walked away.
Oh.
Anyway, guys, the week in sports, quite a lot of stuff is happening. Even in the NFL.
Well, shit. This is the last month before we have NFL every week until March, I think it is.
Yes, correct.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Well, February, because when Super Bowl was playing.
I think it's like March of 2022. I'm wondering why that came about. But
so
sorry, phone
call.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got, as far as football is concerned, the Washington football team got handed down a $10 million fine for what happened in their organization regarding harassment and working conditions and all that stuff. And Dan Snyder, of course, was removed from day-to-day operations. And there was a meme that you put, or somebody put in the group this week, about how the owner of the Clippers was thrown out.
John Sterling?
Yeah, Sterling was fired for what happened in his organization, but yet the NFL still keeps Dan Snyder. I mean, is there a double standard with Dan Snyder? I don't understand what's going on with that. I mean, Elliot's shaking his head yes up and down very frivolously. Yes,
it's the owners. The NFL owners are a very select group of dudes, and they don't get kicked out. First of all, you don't get a franchise just for showing up.
And they have Goodell by the balls all the time.
Well, yeah,
Don't
because
forget,
Goodell works for the owners. Yeah.
Roger works for them.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So there you have it. There's the road, big roadblock, dead end street.
Well, he promoted his wife or his daughters to CEO as the week before,
Nepotism running wild. I get
right?
it.
I think that's his daughter, isn't it?
Is it his daughter? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
But here's
so-
my question
what?
concerning the Washington football team. I think we covered this with Cleveland. Now that they're allowing throwback helmets, what do the Washington football team get to wear?
Yeah, at least I saw that meme too, and yeah, they really can't go back to their
Because their throwback helmets have their old logo that was
Right.
banned,
Mhm.
yes,
and Cleveland just doesn't have a fucking logo.
yeah.
I
So-
think it's about time that Washington found some kind of a nickname or something, because this is ridiculous.
They call them WFT all the time, or Washington.
They're
Football?
talking
Yeah.
about keeping it. They're talking about keeping it, but I guess some copyright shit came up, and it's a battle going on or whatever. I don't know. Look, either way, until they win something, they don't matter.
Right,
But now that Snyder's not in charge, they just might win something.
right.
Who knows?
Don't forget, the only thing holding the Cowboys back is Jerry Jones.
Correct.
I should think there would be enough. I shouldn't.
Same thing in Washington. Dan Snyder's holding back that organization. Maybe his wife got more fucking gonads than he does.
I don't know. It's a double standard with the NFL compared to in the NBA or Major League Baseball by owners being pushed out. I mean,
It's
Snyder,
the power structure, dude.
Yeah,
It's the
and-
power structure of the
and-
NFL.
and I know the fans in Washington want Snyder to sell the damn team. They don't no longer want him to be the owner, but he's not gonna relinquish it. He's not gonna sell it.
No.
No
The
more
hierarchy
than the Dolans are gonna sell the Indians at this
The
point.
NFL hierarchy rules, dude.
Yeah,
Plain and simple. Plain and simple. That's a beast you can't go up against.
right, Right.
Ask Colin Kaepernick.
right,
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
Good point. And the Jags, Niners, and Cowboys all got fined for OTA violations. I guess they were doing contact drills or something of that nature.
So wait a minute.
We guess. We don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
No
You're
one
gonna have to
knows.
break this one down for me.
Well,
You got
here's-
fined for OTA violations.
Right,
And
Optional,
OTAs
optional.
stands for-
OTAs are optional.
right.
Mhm.
Optional
no,
team
really-
activity.
What I wanted.
It's
OTA.
Probably got
optional.
fined.
Yep.
Yeah.
Optional team. Okay.
Optional team activities.
That's what it's
So-
called.
It's
They got
OTA.
Fine.
How do you get fined when
For
something is optional?
option. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to get to. Slow it down for the dumb Canadian in the crowd here who
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
understand this.
they're optional team activities. They're actual off-season team activities, however you want to do it. It's still optional.
Mhm.
If they're fined for off-season workout violations, Jacksonville got fined $200,000. San Francisco and Dallas were fined $100,000 each.
Well, that's it. They can't afford Lawrence now.
McCarthy got fined 50,000.
McCarthy got fined $50,000. Urban Meyer was docked $100,000 himself. And Shanahan got fined 50,000 as well, just like McCarthy.
I hear Trevor Lawrence is holding out on the Jags.
That's hilarious.
Is that fucking ironic or
Is
what?
is he really holding out?
That seriously?
Yeah, there's rookie contract. Huh?
They're not. They can't come. They haven't come to an agreement on his contract.
No.
He's holding out right now, dude. And Gardner Minshew's in the background going,
See,
yeah.
I thought the rookie minimum was supposed to remove all the holdout crap going on.
Thought so too.
It's the Jaguars, dude. Wouldn't you hold out?
I know that'll make sure I got every penny I possibly can.
Exactly. He's
Yeah,
trying to squeeze. Hey, he's trying to squeeze blood out of that turnip.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that right now. Okay.
Specifics of those violations are not known, although they typically center on intensity of practice sessions and resulting contact. Which is
I mean,
why-
aside from
contact.
the high profile Cowboys and Niners, why the Jags being violated? Is that how you keep them in the news?
Well, you got a rookie head coach who doesn't understand the rules, and they can get probably get a little out of hand. So I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, man. Urban, he's even saying that Tim Tebow might not make it to the team.
well, none of us think that Tebow's going to make the team. I don't even think Tebow's going to make the
It
team.
was a publicity stunt.
Yeah, of course it was, just to get
Well.
press.
All right, time to go to the voice of God, huh?
Actually, no, Cowboys are been selected for Hard Knocks.
Oh yeah. See, I skipped
Oh,
it on
great.
purpose.
Here you go, Ken. You get an inside look
get
at
to
the
see-
Cowboys training camp.
You get to see front and center what a jackass Jerry Jones is.
Third time we've been on that fucking show. I don't understand why they keep that damn thing around.
Because it's
it-
America's
because-
team, Ken, and everybody wants
Because
to know about
Jerry
America's
Jones,
team.
Jerry Jones needs the exposure.
yeah, he needs the exposure, all right.
Yeah, he needs to
Just
be
up
exposed,
your
all right. That's true.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I hated
Cowboys,
that
Hard
show,
Knocks.
Head cable. Now that I
I've never
don't have
watched
cable,
any
I
of
still
them. I
read
never
it.
watched any of them. So
No,
I haven't watched any either. Even the Browns one, I didn't watch. So
no.
you know, I mean, and since I've got HBO Max, so I can go back and do it if I watch it if I want to. I had no. I mean that season was just a
look,
shit
I'm
show.
about as interested in that as I am in the fucking combines. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it was a total fucking bullshit show, and I wish they'd get rid of it.
Okay, now on to the voice of God.
All right.
John may not know who this is.
I have no idea. So
John
I'll let
Facenda
you
was
guys, you know.
John Facenda was the
I didn't know
voice-
either, John. You know what? For record's sake, I didn't know who this guy was either. But yet I heard his voice for decades, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember,
John-
have you ever seen the thing segment on the Raiders goes, "The autumn wind is a raider."
Yes, you ever seen that?
That is-
the
that is
the poem
John.
that's out there.
If you ever seen anything with NFL films, he was the voice.
Before and this is the 70s and 80s, John. So it's before
Yeah.
your time, but
If
can
you
find
watch
it on
those
YouTube,
Super Bowl replays, if you watch the Super Bowl
Yeah.
replays every year when they put
He
them out, that's
narrated
his
it.
voice.
yeah, the hour-long shortened replays, just the highlights. Yes, he was the voice of NFL films for over 2 decades.
Yeah.
And he was known as the voice of God because his voice was just so good and so
Smooth.
perfect, smooth and perfect for the NFL.
Mhm.
I gotta
His voice is the one you hear when you hear the poem "The Autumn Wind" about the Raiders. The autumn wind is a Raider. And they also made a song called "The Autumn Wind," and it was also played with the Raiders. If you hear it at one point, you'll probably know the song too. But he was finally selected to go into the NFL Hall of Fame. Ironically, Steve Sable was supposed to go in last year, but they didn't have a ceremony. But he's going in this year, so he and Steve Sable will be
going
going
in
in at the
together.
same time.
Yep.
And of course, posthumously for both of them, because Facenda died like in 82 or 83. Ken, I think it was. It was.
It was sometime in the mid '80s. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had just retired from NFL film. I think 2 or 3 years later, he'd passed away.
I think he had cancer or something like that, or whatever was going on with him. But just a great. I mean, that's the guy, the voice that got me into the NFL as well. part of the reason I got into the NFL was that voice. It was great. So I'm very happy he's being put in. It just gives me chills when I hear him call a highlight. It really is. It's good stuff. John has no clue who we're talking.
I wouldn't go that far, yo. I mean, they might have called him the voice of God, but
Yeah. This next
Yeah.
one's for John.
Why is it gotta be about me? Like, I don't care what the owner's daughter does with her life. Like,
who's
cares?
Jessica? Who's Jessica Pagula?
She's the
Tim
daughter.
and Perry Pagula's kid, who's
Who?
a tennis pro, the owners of the Bills,
Oh,
Yeah, she's
Harry.
the daughter of the Bills ownership. Yes.
and she's like apparently good at the tennis. I mean, shocker, you know. I mean, yeah, you're in
Hey.
country clubs your entire life, you know. Like, of
Hey.
course, you know.
hey, John, keep in mind that on this show, we believe that Marv Levy was the best NBA.
Yes, I
broadcaster
see
of
them.
all
I
time.
saw that. He quickly corrected,
Which means that
yeah.
made Marv Albert a 4-time losing Super Bowl Hall of Fame.
I know. I was like, dude. I told him. I said we can talk about Marv Levy all you want, but I don't think he.
But I don't think he knows shit about the NBA.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's a good story, man. I mean, this just Jessica Pegula. She's apparently really good. She did pretty good she was in a major last year where she got
U.S. Open. She did good in the U.S. Open. I think
was the U.S. Open. I thought it was
the U.S.
Well,
maybe it was the Australian. It was the Australian.
Yeah, it was the Australian.
You're right. Yeah.
And she's apparently really good. So good for her. I mean, they're my two favorite billionaires on the planet, and I love them very much. And I'm glad that their kid is doing good in life. Just don't move the team to outside of Western New York. Thank you very much.
And congratulations, Marv Levy.
And congratulations, Marv Levy, on the epic career in broadcasting, the NBA.
NBA, yeah.
Yes.
Of all things.
Make you kind of wonder whatever.
Hey, that's a good segue.
Is that a segue? Because can I talk about Marv Albert now? Are we allowed?
Yeah, now
talk about Marv Albert now. Yes.
So the way that so Elliot, the way that like Scott was just like salivating over this guy that I couldn't even remember who was, right? That's how I feel when I think
Marv Albert.
Yes. Like yes.
Reggie Miller, classic with the
yes.
Knicks, dude. All the shots.
Well, the ones I remember, Michael Jordan. Yes. When he called out Michael Jordan's name, and he just real soft and just with emphasis.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
Marv Albert.
He had one of the most iconic calls of all time when Boston was playing the Lakers in the NBA Finals. This is when Havlicek and them boys were still around.
Right.
And Jabbar made a hook shot to tie the game in Boston from the corner, almost from the 3-point line, which wasn't there at the time.
Yeah.
You know what? That wasn't the Lakers. That was Milwaukee. That was the last time the Bucks were in the NBA Finals.
The Bucks?
I remember that.
And the call he made when he was it was Milwaukee actually.
Yeah.
He was with them at the
Wasn't
time.
with the Lakers.
The call he made.
Yeah.
Epic. I mean, I had a tape recorder. You know, we had tape recorders back in the day, right?
Yeah, of course. Dude, I'm not that. I'm not.
I recorded that fucking segment, dude.
Did you really?
I don't know whatever fucking happened to the tape, but I recorded that motherfucker and I would listen to it over and over. It was an iconic call. And it just stuck with me from then on. Marv Albert was one of my favorite announcers ever.
Yeah, I my most vivid memories of Marv Albert are when during those Bulls championship runs because he called all of them for NBC at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Michael from 3, yes,
yes. Or he just with emphatic Michael Jordan, just the way he would call that out too when Jordan would do something like that. But yeah, Marv is a legend. He had one hiccup in his life that we all remember.
Was that the prostitute thing?
The prostitute, where they
bitch in the ass.
Yeah, where his teeth marks were imprinted in her ass.
He bit her in the ass because she took it. Hey, she took his rug off, so she bit her in the ass.
Yeah.
His toupee. His famous toupee.
Despite that hiccup, he's probably the greatest basketball announcer of all time.
Greatest.
Oh, he is the.
Look, he's on the same
Dick
level.
Pavetta, like Dick Pavetta was the greatest ref.
He's on the same level as in the NFL, John Madden and Pat Summerall.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as announcing legends, gods, or whatever.
The voice of Madison Square Garden because he was the voice of both the Knicks and the Rangers for a long time.
Yeah, because he started doing the Knicks first, didn't he?
He was the Knicks first, yeah. Then
Knicks
all that
first.
shit happened, and the Knicks said, no, we can't. We can't have that around here. This is New York. We don't do that kind of shit. We don't be biting people in the ass. So.
But yeah, I mean, great career. I'm sad to see these not going to be doing. I
wish he would have held out a couple of years to make it 60 even, but
yeah,
shit happens.
Yep. So what do you guys think of the finals, Suns and Bucks?
I think Adam Silver is pissed off at the world. That's what I think. I think Adam Silver is so upset with this final, but I'm happy for it.
They wanted LA, Brooklyn.
Hell yeah, they did.
First, it was supposed to be the Lakers.
Yeah.
But then it was supposed to be the Clippers after that.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Okay.
they wanted Brooklyn coming out of the East for
All
sure.
right.
They wanted Brooklyn coming out of the East because that's where all the attention was, and Kevin Durant, who is the pseudo face of the NBA. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it works. You know what I'm saying? And Charles Barkley said it the other day. He was like, I wasn't rooting for any team. I was just rooting against the super team because I hate them. I
Yeah.
hate super teams. I hate people that come together for the purpose of winning a championship only because they can't be the man themselves. Hey, Liana, what's up?
Hi,
Go
Italia.
Go Italy.
We have that. We don't even have that. Well, the last thing we're talking about England, which is okay, but
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about the Belgium.
But
There's
let's talk
beauty
about
there,
those Phoenix Suns, man.
Dude, I'm
Paul-
for it. Like, listen, I'm cool with Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee was like this. It's like the redheaded stepchild for the Raptors. Raptors always beat them, but I was
Yeah.
always cheering for them
Mhm.
because it was a good fan base, and it's like a small town, But Giannis was loyal and good for them. They're in the final spot. The Suns,
Phoenix.
bro, dude, what a squad! Devin Booker is no joke.
Right? Chris
Like,
Paul.
Chris Paul, love him or hate him, the fact that he's dude, it's great.
DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton. I mean,
Jay
probably
Crowder.
the quietest, best first overall pick. You know what I mean? Like he not the flash and stuff, but just a great.
No, and he was the first overall pick. Why? Because he was from the University of Arizona. Phoenix had to take his ass.
Yeah, man. So it's great, man. I'm rooting for the Suns, even though if the Bucks win, I'm not depressed or anything.
There are no losers because people
No.
like both.
Hey,
teams.
you know what? Either way, it'll be a first time ever NBA championship for either team.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
Great. It's what the
First time
NBA
Phoenix
needs.
wins.
Which
First time.
Adam Silver might hate,
He hates it because there's no
But-
big right.
but when you strive for parity and these are the results that come from it, you need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
So,
Yeah,
I think-
I'm
I think-
pumped for
I
it.
think it's going to be a really intriguing series, and I'm not rooting against Phoenix, but I kind of hope Milwaukee wins it because it's been 50 years since they won it last, and
Yeah, but
but
Phoenix,
Phoenix
never
wins
won
it
it.
the first time. They've never won it. And
I want to see Chris Paul get a ring. That's all I want.
Yeah.
16
would not
years in
be-
the fucking league.
I would not mind that at all if CP3 win it. So
And then they
either
can move on.
one of them.
All right,
Yeah,
and
I'm a big Suns fan in this. I like the Suns in this series.
did you guys see Marv Albert's last broadcast?
Yeah, I didn't see the whole thing. But I saw
I
the
didn't
end
see
of it.
well, I was on clips because I've refused to buy.
Did you see
cable
the
now,
end?
so. Yeah, where Reggie gets up and gives him
He
the
gave
standing
him
O.
he got him an NBA Finals trophy
Yeah,
and presented it to him.
Nice.
nice.
That was great.
Mini one.
I'm
So-
glad he got it from Reggie Miller and not like Chris Webber or somebody like that. Because you know how many times he cried yes every time Reggie Miller made a shot. You know what I'm saying? Which was a
dude,
lot.
yeah.
Especially against the Knicks. What,
The
two
Pacers
shots in
and
8
Knicks,
seconds?
man. That was great.
Two fucking threes in 8 seconds fucking killed us, man.
Mm. Nice shot, Cheryl.
That was the Spike
Yeah,
Lee,
the
Reggie
Spike Lee
Miller
Yes.
the choke.
choke. So,
And Elliot's favorite topic of the week, Mr. Leigh Weiner.
the
got
whiner,
blasted-
Le
got blasted
bitch,
by Shaquille O'Neal.
Le bitch
Is
ass.
Shaquille O'Neal the greatest human being on the planet, or is it just me? I'm pretty sure it's
He
Shaquille.
is.
I love me some Shaq. I
And
love it.
I love his Papa John's commercials.
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but I'm sure they're epic. Yeah.
Look,
Shaq says basically when you're living in a world where 40 million people have been laid off and I'm making 200 million, you won't get no complaining from me, Shaq said, plain and simple.
yeah, he says he'd play back to back to back to back to back.
Yep.
You know, and he's not knocking anything that he said personally,
Mm.
but he doesn't complain and make excuses according to Shaq because real people are working their asses off, and all we have to do is train for 2 hours a day, play 2 hours at night, and we make a lot of money. So my thought process is a little different. You know what I'm
You
saying?
got a good point.
He's got an excellent
Yeah.
point, dude.
Shaq is amazing.
You
I
don't
love
fuck.
Shaq.
You know what? LeBron James is reacting the way a petulant loser reacts. Once he couldn't get anywhere in the playoffs, he had to start complaining about the fucking
The format.
the shortness of the season or between seasons. You know, it caused injuries. You know what? Ain't nobody else fucking complaining.
Man.
You the only one. Why? Because you're starting to come down to the level of you ain't all that anymore.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? The injuries are starting to show, and your fucking piss poor attitude is definitely coming to the forefront.
Yeah.
You're the LeBron I remember that fucking took his talents down to South Beach. Okay. The
We're a
same
long
bitch
time
ass-
from that.
the same bitch ass LeBron that did that shit. And
Yeah.
now he's gonna talk shit because he could. You know what? That team couldn't win because they didn't have Anthony Davis. They won with Anthony Davis. Gee, they couldn't get nowhere with just LeBron. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so yeah, LeBron, I don't think he's the man anymore. And now he's
Well,
running
it's-
It's irrelevant.
It's his first finals he's missed in what, 10 years, something like that?
in a long time. 2010, I think it was the last time.
Yeah,
That him or Steph Curry weren't in the NBA finals.
right.
So, I mean, but again, Shaq makes an excellent point. You're making hundreds of millions of fucking dollars working 4 hours a day. I understand that you do a lot of philanthropical shit. I get it. It's good. I like it. But you don't get the fucking whine when things don't go your way. Because to me, that makes you lay bitch. And that's
Right.
all I got to say on that.
There you go.
Good.
Trevor Bauer going to major.
You know what?
Moving to
I bet
You
baseball.
gotta transition.
I bet you the Mets are really happy that he decided to go to LA.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's transition to Major League Baseball.
To baseball.
Moving on to baseball.
Yeah, moving on to more whining. Baseball. Oh, there's no whining in baseball. That's right. That's right.
Right.
Trevor Bauer. Is he a rapist?
Well, he was a known abuser when he gets signed with the Dodgers. He's got a history.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
He claims it was consensual, but there's always two sides.
and
to
it's
that.
crazy because now it comes face to face with this whole Bill Cosby thing.
Yeah.
It comes at the most inopportune moment as far as that goes.
Bad
because-
timing.
Bill Cosby just got released on a technicality,
Yep.
and Trevor Bauer is being accused of the same shit. Well, not maybe quite in the same way, but
Well, if we're not going to go into detail on the
abuse
show,
of women.
but
is what I'm
it's
saying.
pretty bad. If you've not read it, read what he's being accused of, and it's pretty freaking bad, to be honest.
Well, come on, you got Deshaun Watson,
Mhm.
same fucking thing. dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These sports stars believe that they play under a different set of rules.
And they're above reproach, above any kind of criticism,
Exactly.
above the
But why
law.
is that?
Well, because it's a combination of things. It's
Because they're
the adoration
protected.
of the fans, and thinking that he's great, and and the money thing, and it's also the money.
Some players are beyond reproach as far as NHL, NFL, all those organizations. Okay, how many times did Michael Jordan get fouls called in his favor for just breathing or looking at him the wrong
Well,
way?
same with LeBron James.
Same
too.
with LeBron, same
Yeah.
with Kobe.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
there's certain players that you protect from scrutiny, no matter how much scrutiny you get for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it protects your bottom line, and that's what these corporations are all about. You're just a number in their fucking scheme of things. You know, and that numbers usually is how much is on that check that they sign? How many zeros are on that check that they sign?
A bunch of them.
You see what I'm saying? So the more zeros you got, the more you're gonna get by with shit. Because I tell you what, Michael Jordan got by with shit that others couldn't get by with.
Yeah.
Because they weren't at his level. You can have Michael Jordan fouling out of games, but yet he was one of the most fouling motherfuckers on the court. But
Right.
back then, fouls weren't really called at the pace they're called today.
No, they're not.
Because
They're
it wasn't a pussy league back then. That's
Hey, Brett.
why.
Hi, Brett.
Brett, what's up, man? You got any relevant stuff you want to post real quick?
not.
Dude, Brett will find like this guy stubbed his toe this week.
I'm still waiting for the fucking Tiddlywinks championship post.
Stephen Whittle of Facebook, John. There you go.
Stephen Whittle.
I mean, the MLB put him on leave. He's on administrative leave pending their investigation. But again, he's another one of these players. He's the ace on the. I mean, Kershaw used to be the ace, but I think Trevor Bauer is considered the ace on the Dodgers squad at this point. But I mean, if the allegations come out and they're true, good God, that's some serious stuff right there. Moving on to the Shohei Ohtani show. He hit his 31st today, but he's got 30 home runs for the season. He's on pace to go to hit 61. He's the first player ever to be named to the All-Star team as both a position player and a pitcher.
Yeah, we waxed his ass the other day. The Yankees 7 runs in the first inning on him. Just as a note, because the Yankees don't really score 7 runs in many games. Even in a week's time, they might not score 7 runs.
I mean, have you seen this guy play, guys? He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just watched the Jays, man. That's it.
He's like Ichiro with pop, yo. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, it's good for him, but I'm more interested in the fact that there's 4 Jays starters going to the game.
Yeah.
Well, Vlad is there.
Yeah. Bo Bichette just got named today.
Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
And of course, they beat
Oscar,
they beat up on the Rays again today too.
No. The Rays won today.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was 5-1. I think it was.
Okay.
The Jays. Their bullpen is awful. It's the worst. Like we get starting pitching all the time. It's the bullpen is just the god awful, like the worst in the league.
Okay, 5-1. The Indians lost to the Astros again today, so it is what it is. But I mean,
Rays.
Yeah.
Austin Meadows.
Cool.
Austin Meadows had 3 hits.
Happy Bobby Bonilla Day, really?
Yes,
Happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
That was actually July 1st, but it's within the week since we did. So once again, we celebrate the annual payment from the Mets to Mr. Bobby Bonilla.
$1.15 million every year until 2035.
Good for
and
him.
He's already been getting it for 20 years already.
Yes.
His agent is the smartest person on the planet.
Yes.
It was the greatest contract ever signed. And the Mets are the worst idiots in the history of sport.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll give it to the Mets this year because this new owner came in and he put his money where his mouth was.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And he's made the moves necessary to make the Mets a contender. So
moves like
bravo to Mr. Steve Cohen.
Best pitcher in baseball too.
Well, yeah, Jake DeGrom, dude.
There was a scary thing with him the other day when he had some tightness somewhere and he had to sit down in a game, I think. But
dude, he can have tightness and a freaking pinky finger and they'll fucking sit his ass down.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
He's going to go into the All-Star break with an ERA of less than 1, and that's unheard of.
So,
Brett, I have no idea, or do I care who the hell Wander Franco is? Who is Wander Franco?
I don't know. Do you know who Nick Pivetta is?
No.
He's a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox who struck out 10 and shut out the A's today 1-0.
Wander Franco's that new guy for the Rays.
Who the hell is Nick Pivetta?
I know Dick Pivetta.
Ken, do you know who Nick Pivetta is? Yo? Hey, you're the Red Sox fan.
I couldn't pick him out in the lineup.
Plays for my Rays. I don't follow the Rays.
He's a starting pitcher.
Yeah, I don't follow the Rays anymore, Brett. So I wouldn't know who he is.
Who?
Wander Franco is supposedly a pitcher for the Rays.
Oh, Wander Franco. Yeah, they're making a big old deal out of that dude.
Yeah, I have no idea who he is. I don't follow the Rays anymore.
He's not a pitcher. He's a field player.
So
look, if he ain't Julio Franco, then because Julio was the best Franco ever in baseball.
There you go.
Well, wait a minute. The pitcher for the Mets, John Franco, was pretty good too.
He was pretty good, yes.
He played with Cincinnati for a while.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We're going to leave NHL talk until the top of the hour when Ron gets here.
Of course. Oh, speaking of which,
Just John, you're happy now. The
What?
NCAA is now allowing name, image, and likeness for their athletes.
oh. Can I just really quick before you start, John?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fuck you, Deep Dabo Sweeney.
Yeah, okay, that works.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, good for the NCAA. I mean, who cares? Next
It took
topic.
the Supreme Court to do it.
Yeah,
but-
That motherfucker. Oh,
screw that organization.
Dabo Sweeney, dude. That dude came out and said he would fucking retire if they start paying the players.
He said he quit, not retire. He just quit.
Okay, well, might as
Quit,
well retire
quit
because
then,
nobody
'cause
else.
how much does Dabo Sweeney get paid?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Millions.
millions. You know,
Exactly.
whatever. Screw that. Yeah. Next topic.
Crapo Sweeney.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was really freaking insulting, dude. That he would come out, and I mean that's kind of the same thing Low Weiner did. You know what I'm saying? Fucking whining over some bullshit.
Yep.
It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. GT FOH, motherfucker.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. That's what it
Fuck out of here.
is.
You're not hip, Scott. You're
No,
not hip.
I guess I'm not. No.
Ken and Elliot are very hip.
If
you
you
know.
type it out, I'd know what it says. But he said it. It was like,
Hey, yo, man, acronyms
I
are my
got
thing, yo.
confused in my brain from.
Hey, did you
thinking
see
the
that?
acronym.
Did you see the one I put up with that long ass acronym?
What? No, I did not see that. What
It
did you do?
said it was like GYIT till all the alphabet basically is get your ass in the motherfucking house now before I beat your ass. It was all in acronyms. And I knew it because I got told that shit when I was a kid.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah. I never knew it came in code.
U.S. sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson is suspended for a month
For smoking weed,
for smoking weed,
a performance enhancing drug.
which it's
Bullshit.
not.
The only performance that it enhances is your ability to eat the
Eat
shit out of your
more.
refrigerator.
That
Yes.
is the Dennis Leary quote, and I stick to it.
Yes.
And for the record, I'm not a weed smoker. For the record, I haven't smoked weed in decades. But
It's been 20
What did
years.
you inhale? What did you inhale?
It's been 16
Yes,
years since
yes,
I smoked. So
yeah.
yes, I'm with you there, John. It's been a-
it's exactly, Alien. It's munchies. That's and apparently, like I just saw this on Facebook. She actually smoked weed after something, an interviewee or
a
something.
reporter told her her mother died.
Can I
Mother
ask a
died.
question? How many people get hungry after they do cocaine or crack or anything like that?
Yeah, well, that
Fuck no, you don't get
But see-
hungry, you get
but
fucking
see-
paranoid.
See, that's a performance enhancing drug. You
You're
do a
afraid-
line of coke,
hey.
you're gonna run real quick.
You're afraid to open the refrigerator when you do that shit.
It's
You
mad.
know?
And she was like apparently like gonna be like toe to toe with that sprinter from Jamaica, right? Like that was gonna be like an all-star kind of
West
100 meter dash thing. She
right.
did it in 10.84 or something like that. Like
Scott,
stupid.
I've got a few things to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, and there was I don't know if you guys follow her or not, but Lisa Guerrero, who was a sideline reporter for Monday Night Football back in the day, she tweeted out or retweeted and commented on something that somebody else put out there. Somebody tweeted out, Brett Favre didn't smoke a blunt after his dad died. He went out and went 22 of 30 for 399 and 4 TDs. Lisa Guerrero came back on that and said, I was at that game and interviewed him for Monday Night Football seconds before the picture that they posted was taken. Great game, but Favre was an alcoholic, abused prescription pills for years while playing, and was fined $50,000 for refusing to cooperate in an investigation into his sexual misconduct.
And he's
Yeah,
an arrogant son of a bitch, too.
And yet he got a pass. Okay.
Yeah.
Those three things that are right there are enough to be I mean, it's just are just terrible. And I mean, and
she smoked a
she
joint.
smoked weed after somebody
Mhm.
after a stranger interviewed her and it told her for the first time that her mother had passed away.
Yeah.
And this is the U.S. like
that-
Olympics that are doing this.
I think it's
Right,
the U.S. Olympics. I think it's
It's
I think
not
it's the
the
USAC.
Olympic. It's not the IOC.
I don't think it's the IOC. I think it's the USOC. I think is what it was.
No, it is IOC.
Oh, it is IOC?
Oh,
okay.
Defended by IOC. Okay. First off, she knew the rules. I'm very sorry for her finding out her mother passed away. I'm very even sorrier the way she found out. And that's a whole nother ball game because that is not our responsibility to let them know, news like that. I mean, I have to believe that her family that was in attendance at the trials was keeping it from her to keep her mind on the trials itself.
Right.
Having said that,
Yeah.
I saw the interviews with her after the contest that she won, going away, and to be honest with you, I believe she was under the influence during the interview because she must have.
Now she's not the one that
Imbibed.
was. She's not the one that was protesting the anthem, right?
No, this is a different. No,
No,
this is a different sprinter. No.
No. She's the one with the long fingernails. She's trying to channel Flojo.
Flojo.
And, yeah, and
She got some balls, though. I'll tell you that.
she's a wonderful sprinter. She's a local girl from my area. But having said that, she knew the rules. She broke the rules. She's having to suffer for it now, and I feel bad for her
Right.
her loss, very much so. But
To her
she
credit,
had-
she said the same thing, Ken, that she understood the rules and she violated the rules, and that's.
So
and
what's the
that's-
problem?
that's
So
the
what is
thing,
the
too.
problem?
because all
Problem
the
is,
Hollywood types started talking up about it.
Yeah,
Seth
there's
Rogen
been
went
an
on,
uproar and a drive to get her reinstated by
Right.
other professional athletes.
By
Hollywood,
all the potheads in California, basically.
yeah,
Basically.
pretty much, yeah.
And IOC does not do that kind of.
They're not
I,
gonna
just, I
budge on
can't
that.
believe weed is a performance enhancing. Like I can't believe like out of all the things.
Well, who's classifying it that?
Well,
Which
they-
country?
Oh, the IOC
Is
has
it
a
Japan?
laundry
Because,
list of
yeah, there's because it's an
Drug business.
international rule. It's hard to make it a blanket
Yeah.
coverage
Yeah.
thing. You know what I'm
And
saying?
another thing, someone said, well, she was doing it in Oregon, and Oregon is perfectly legal.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
And, so
But it's still on the list of federal
it's still on
crimes.
the list. Yeah.
on the list of
One
banned
is on the
substances.
list.
Yes.
Anybody's guess.
Like things like LSD and
Well,
and
yeah.
heroin and
Oh, yeah.
those non-violent drugs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been smoking
taken-
weed for a long fucking time, and I don't remember when I got pissed off when I was smoking.
Yeah, wanting to go like beat someone up after you.
Yeah, who wants to fight when you're fucking high? Come on, man. The only thing I'm gonna fight you about is if you try to get to the fridge before me. Then we go down. You know what I'm saying? But that's about it.
Madness.
All right, let's talk about Euro 2000 before
Yeah.
Ron gets here.
Yeah.
Ron wants to hit it, and I know Ken wants to hit it. Congratulations to England for making the semifinals.
Bro,
Now they
it's
get now they
great.
get a home game, and it stays at home the rest of the way.
Yeah, man. I mean, what people are saying, man. Imagine Italy and England in Wembley for the final.
It's like a dream matchup, isn't it?
Let that sink in. I mean, that's-
That may or may not be a dream matchup. It may be a nightmare matchup because those two fan bases do not get along.
Sounds like
totally
riots in the
serious.
streets.
That's totally serious.
Bro, I'm excited for them. Again, it's because England is compared to the Toronto Maple Leafs of the football world, right? Soccer
Oh, yeah,
world. So,
yeah.
yeah. Haven't won since
Their last
66.
title came
you
the year
know.
before the Maple Leafs did.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So good for England. Good for England. My adopted team failed miserably. That was Belgium.
Elena doesn't like English people. I think that's what she's
Hey
saying.
man, they still got waffles, dude. So They can still
Yeah.
fall back on that waffle thing.
Dude, Belgium, and I started following a bunch of the guys on Twitter, man. Like these guys were amazing to watch the entire tournament. So Kevin De Bruyne or whatever his name is, and
Brian.
Lukaku.
Yeah.
Anyways, they were awesome, amazing to
They
watch.
were.
So I'm a
The
fan of
thing
Belgium,
is,
but so,
everybody else around Europe's going to be rooting for Denmark because it's a feel-good story if they win,
yeah.
because they had such a horrible start to the tournament.
So who's the fourth team then?
Fourth team
Spain.
is Italy and Spain.
Italy and Spain,
Italy
and
and
then
Spain will play
Denmark,
the first
England,
final, and then
semis.
England and Denmark in the second one.
Okay.
And the championship game is next Sunday.
Mm.
So when do I mean the semis start? When are the semis?
July 7th?
Semifinals. One semifinal is Tuesday, and the other one is Wednesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
this week, yeah.
So
And then Sunday is the final, right?
Sunday is the final.
Mm. So yeah,
Um,
it's crazy, man.
Okay, Eliano, thank you for sharing that information.
Yeah, Eliana is pro Italia. Someone's got to tell her she's Portuguese though, but she'll
Yeah,
tell
right.
you why. She's got an entire reason why. So
Yeah, I'm part Portuguese
there you go.
on my dad's side.
Mm.
Yeah, man. This was a great tournament. I enjoyed watching every moment of it. So
this has been
And you
one
had
of
time to
more-
watch because you were mostly on the road.
well,
though.
I didn't. Well, I watched the first round, right? Like
Okay.
I watched the entire first round because it was like 3 or 4 games a day, and I would just. It's just like World Cup for me, man. When it's on, I just put it on and I just sit there and watch. And I smile when a team wins, and I kind of giggle when a team loses because I know how that entire country is just like beside themselves,
Right.
with
Yeah.
misery. So
There's nothing to compare it to around here because I mean it's the closest I could probably compare it to is when Canada is playing for the gold medal in the Olympics in ice hockey, and the entire country is coming
Stops.
together.
Yeah.
It stops. Yeah.
Well, and you can compare. I mean, even this country gets crazy when the women's national team plays for a gold medal.
Exactly.
At the World
No.
Club.
nothing like
Really?
Canada with ice hockey, dude. Like it's
Yeah.
literally, and it's what's really unique, and this is it's really what's very Canadian about this. No matter what, people will stop to watch the Olympic gold game if they're in the gold game, right?
Right.
Like
Mhm.
everyone, doesn't matter where you're from, people know that it's insanity. But it's the same feeling in Euro and World Cup when these countries, not teams, countries lose or win. And a team like England that's just been misery for decades are in the Final Four. It's
Mhm.
pretty cool. I mean, no one's
Very cool.
no one's thinking they're going to win it all, but there's because that Italy and Spain side is pretty tough. But
Yeah. Italy is gaining in confidence, but the heart, the totally blank what I wanted to say, but everybody is rooting for the England and Denmark game because the winner of that will definitely be the favorite. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, man. So you should do yourself a favor there, Scott, and watch some this week.
Hey, big shout out to Joey Chestnut. He won his 14th hot dog eating contest.
76 hot dogs and
76 franks and buns.
1,800
buns.
carbs. 1,800 carbs. Bro, I'm not supposed to have that in a year.
Right. Yeah. He did it
And
in
he
10
did
minutes.
it in 10 minutes. Franks and buns, 76 of them.
He's the greatest single champion in the history of sport. I
They
can't
call
believe
him
they call this a
Jaws,
sport.
dude. They call him Jaws.
Not a sport.
It's not.
You know what? If he ain't smoking weed,
Gluttony. That's what it is.
I bet you he does
Gluttony.
bong hits before he gets on the
This one's
stage.
gluttony.
Well, he like fills the bread with water or something,
Yeah,
right?
he,
Like, you
he,
see
dips,
that?
he dips the whole thing in water before he goes to make it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing, dude.
That
76.
whole thing is so American. It's not even funny.
I know it is. It's totally American. Yes, it is.
Totally.
Like, how do you wake
Hey,
up one day
look.
and say, I want to stuff 76 hot dogs down my throat in 10 minutes, please?
It's the
Yeah.
Super Bowl of food eating, yeah.
I can't believe food eating is even a thing. Like, what happened to just enjoying a steak? You know, can you just enjoy a steak?
Hell yeah, America.
unless you're in Texas, and you go one of them 4-pound steaks that they be serving and shit.
Oh.
I've been to that restaurant, Elliot.
Huh?
I did not enter that contest.
Oh my God, 4-pound fucking. And
I
if you
have
can
seen
eat
that
it,
steak
if you can
too.
eat
It's
it within an
unbelievable.
hour, they give you the meal.
1
for
hour.
free.
72 ounces in 1 hour, and you have to clean the table.
That
I mean, you
reminded
have to
me.
eat- You have to eat
That
steak,
reminded me.
salad, potato, everything.
Yeah, and that reminded me of a place in Tucson called Buddy's Grill. They had a
Mhm.
hamburger called the Belt Buster, and
Oh.
if you finished it completely, it was a 5-pound hamburger. Yeah? And
Yeah.
if you finish it completely, you get your picture on the freaking Wall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
They do
saying?
it the
And
Big Texan Grill.
I knocked that one out. 5 pounds of burgers, dude. I was shitting for days after that.
But you got a picture on the wall.
I didn't
was
need
it?
a laxative. I can tell you that right
Oh.
I was in a jalapeno eating contest one time in Tucson.
Ouch.
Yeah.
No, thank
I
you.
used to hang out with some of the players, the Tucson Toros. They were the farm team for
Mhm.
the Houston Astros at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to hang out with the guys, and they came in and they telling me about this jalapeno, and they've seen me eat jalapenos like whole, and they're just like, you know, amazed and shit. And so I entered. They entered me in the contest. Okay, it was for a $5,000 gold cluster ring, and so I got in the contest. Dude, I fucking ate 24 and a half jalapenos. The other guy got the 25 before me
Is it the green? Is there green jalapenos?
with the seeds and everything, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Seeds and everything, the hot one.
Yeah, the hot shit, dude. They were waiting. They were waiting for me at the dugout because they did it on the field of the game right after the game, and they were waiting for me in the dugout. And they were like, "Oh shit, you lost!" But they had fucking ice cream and beer waiting for me. Hey, you're gonna need this for later.
And hey, Ron, we're just talking about Joey Chestnut eating 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes today, and America's and a
Stuff,
truly
not
American.
eating. There was no eating going on. Devouring and stuffing.
Yes.
Isn't that 4 years in a row for him?
Yeah, I think it's several years in a row. for him,
13
yes.
out of 15 years. or
Yeah.
something.
He had an 8-year streak one time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
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 I can't get over the carbs in that. I'm sitting here counting my carbs all the time. 1,800 carbs. I'm like, I told my wife today, I was like, that's more than I'm supposed to eat an entire year. And he did that in 10 minutes.
1,800 or 18,000?
No, it was 1,800.
1,800.
1,800 grams of carbs
Yeah.
in that. Like, they gave the
Talking
stats.
about
It
how
was
America is.
stupidity. It was dumb. Calories was like 10,000 or something. It was dumb. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, boy.
Good for Joey. That's nothing says America like stuffing your mouth with hot dogs on July 4th, baby. America.
America.
And on that note, we bring in Mr. Ron Gallo, our hockey expert.
Ron, have you ever dunked your hot dog and bun in a glass of water and then like devoured it? No,
No, I have to
because
say
that's the chestnut way.
up here, our eating contests are poutine and maple syrup.
While the beaver looks at you in the eyes.
Yeah. And by the way, happy 4th of July for everybody in the United States.
Thank you, Mr. Gallo. How you doing? How's your week been?
It's been okay. Keeping busy and trying to watch a little bit of hockey once in a while. I'm not sure what I'm watching.
It's not hockey you're familiar with. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of what the Montreal Canadiens were doing in the regular season.
Mm.
Pretty bad, man.
It is what it is. Hey, listen, at the beginning of the year, I mean, we are just jumping right into hockey, so why
Yes,
not?
go ahead.
At the beginning of the playoffs, we said that Montreal should not have made it through the first round. I am a Montreal Canadiens fan without question. Just like, you know, other people in this room cheer for Tampa Bay, cheer for Toronto, cheer for Edmonton, cheer for Chicago, cheer for New York Islanders. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
Dallas.
when it comes down to team versus team, I will cheer for the Montreal Canadiens over any other team always. But for me, it's more about the players. Because I mean, if you think about it, players get traded all the time, and they're going to end up on a team that you don't like or that you do like. And if you can cheer for that player, then that's great. That's what this is all about. It's about the game. And I think it's changed over the years. I think there's still a lot of, you know, importance on the team winning as opposed to the players winning. And here in Canada, I think the reason why it has softened is because we do it every year when a Canadian team does not make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. We're like, oh, well, Chicago's got 13 Canadian players and Anaheim's only got 10. So we're going to cheer for Chicago because they have more Canadian players. You know, we look at the Tampa Bay Lightning and they've got their fair share of Canadian players like anybody else. They've got some very strong French-speaking Canadians. David Savard comes to mind right away. By the way, he's a free agent. Not sure if he'll be with Tampa Bay even next year. But you know, the thing is, it's about the players. And when you look at the players that are on the ice, everybody knew going into the Stanley Cup Finals that the Montreal Canadiens got there because of Carey Price first, and then a couple of other players second. Now what we're seeing is the depth of the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team that Montreal would have faced off against in the first two rounds in any other season because they play in the same division, except this year when Canada played in the North Division. So when you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Montreal Canadiens have not seen that squad since last year. And it's without question, the Tampa Bay Lightning have woken up Canadians when it comes to the game of hockey. And it's just like, wow, you cannot believe it. It is wave after wave after wave. Andrew Vasilevsky, and I am going to say this, Scott tried to say that Andrew Vasilevsky was the best goaltender in the world, and every one of us shut him down last week. Andrew Vasilevsky has faced more shots than Carey Price, and he has stood on his head to keep those pucks out of the net.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Brett posted earlier in the chat that you weren't here when he did it, but he did post here that Vasilevsky is the only guy. I mean, he's a third team. The Bolts are the third team to win a Stanley Cup final game in regulation when being outshot by 20 or more.
Mm-hmm.
Andre has been standing on his head the entire playoffs, not just this series, but the entire playoffs.
I think Brett posted that fact like 12 times this week.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
But he has been. It reminds me of the Bulin Wall back in 2003, 2004. Ron, if you remember that with Calgary and Tampa, Bobby Bulin was just stellar. Bobby Bulin was just stellar in that year as well with the Bolts. But I've seen Vasilevsky come up when he was a backup. I watched this kid, and he has just shown time after time after time just how good he is. He sees everything. I mean, there was one shot the other night where there were like two or three people in front of him, and he still managed to grab it out there with his glove, and he sees everything, and it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, no, and I mean, but credit has to go all the way through that squad. Steven Stamkos, Sergachev. You think of, Kaloran is out. I mean, they're missing him a little bit.
Yeah, we don't know if he's going to play tomorrow night or not. Cooper hasn't come out and said he's playing tomorrow or not, so we'll see.
No, and I mean, Kucherov, of course. I mean, right now, Carey Price is no longer in the running for the Conn Smythe Trophy, win or lose. The Montreal Canadiens will have to pull out 4 in a row for Carey Price to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. Right now, the Conn Smythe Trophy, I think, is going to go to Kucherov, win or lose.
What were you going to say, Elliot?
Would it be fair to say that the actual Stanley Cup final was Tampa and the Islanders?
You know what? Okay, I'm going to say there is every year, every fan, every true diehard fan of a team will watch the team that beat them and see where the difference could have been. Right now, Las Vegas, oh my God, Marc-Andre Fleury is being roasted in Las Vegas, huge, for giving up that tying goal. You guys remember that tying goal from behind the net where he gloved it and it ended up going to overtime?
How can you forget?
Tying goal right now, everybody is looking at Vegas, or everybody that's, looking at it from Vegas's perspective is looking at that goal as being the turning, the TSN turning point, the crowning moment of their playoff demise.
By far. They had that game in the bag.
They did. They were going to win it 2-1. They lost 3-2 in overtime instead. But yeah, everybody's looking at that goal, that flub, that missed opportunity. And Toronto's doing the same thing in their game 5. They're looking at that overtime goal where the two young kids, Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki, played a little pass back and forth up the ice, and Suzuki puts it in the net to win that game 5 in overtime. And that was the turning point for Montreal. That was the demise. That was the end of it for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Winnipeg Jets, they're kind of looking at the Mark Scheifele thing, and not to dig it up again, but Mark Scheifele, maybe he was just a fraction over the line from being a clean hit, because it's late in the game. He never gave up pursuit of the player. He was going with the intention of hitting the player, and then he got suspended for 4 games. Well, he never saw the ice again in the postseason because of that 4-game suspension. But you can't hang everything on one play or one player. If you did that, then for sure the Tampa Bay Lightning wouldn't be where they are right now either, because they've given up a couple of untimely goals to get here to the Stanley Cup Finals. The difference is, and I saw it in game 1 and I was ready to write it off saying, okay, we'll see what happens in game number 2. But Tampa Bay made Montreal pay for every one of their mistakes in all 3 games. All 3 games. That's been the difference. If you look, game 2 was by far the Montreal Canadiens' best game of that series. That series should have been tied at a game apiece, if not for the little miscue and then the goal that scored with 0.8 of a second left in the second period. That right there changed the whole momentum of that game, but possibly the series. If we're looking at one goal, that's
is that the Coleman goal when he was flying through the air at the end of that second period? Is that the Coleman goal?
No, that was game 3. I'm talking game 2.
That was game 3. Okay, that was game 3. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the Islanders. They lost game 7 by a shorthanded goal.
That's right.
So a shorthanded goal is what made the difference in what was, besides one game, a phenomenal series where both teams gave it everything.
Yeah, because the Bolts won that game 1-0 from off that street. That was the final score.
Yeah, it was 1-0 off of a shorthanded goal by Gord, I believe it was.
Yeah.
This is what we've talked about in the past, though. We've talked about the fact that hockey plays a 7-game series, like Major League Baseball. They play a 7-game series. NFL, one and done.
Yep.
So if you have that, I mean, if you get to game 7, it's one and done. But you've got 6 games to put it away before it becomes a one and done. Montreal's no longer got that luxury, by the way, because now they're one and done every game out.
Honestly, Ron, I just couldn't see the NFL going to a 7-game championship.
No. That's not where I'm going with that. Not even a 3-game series.
Yeah, no,
right?
No,
you couldn't do series in football. I get that. I understand that. What I'm trying to say is that you can't look at one play or one goal or one miscue and say that was the series. What it was a momentum changer that everything else all came together or fell into place for. Okay? So when you have the opportunity to play a maximum of 7 games to go to the next round, one play only changes momentum, doesn't dictate the series.
But isn't this fueled by the fact that I believe that Knights management overreacted and pulled him for the next game. To me, you let the guy come back and get over that in the next game.
Right.
Because if
So-
you let it linger in his mind for too long, it could affect him the rest of the way.
Yeah, they
You
did
have-
mention the fact that they pulled him and they shouldn't have pulled him.
They shouldn't have pulled him because
Right.
you know what? The teams that are in the finals right now are the ones that have had the same goalie in every single game.
That's right. And it's not going to change for game 4, by the way, just so you know. Dominic Ducharme has said Carey Price will be there for game number 4. But to go back to what you said, I'm okay with changing players and changing lines and doing a little bit of tweaks here and there, including the goaltenders. And there was no reason why the Vegas Golden Knights couldn't do that. But if you're going to make the swap for Robin Lehner, put Robin Lehner in for the following game because he won the game.
Yeah.
Don't go back to Fleury.
Yeah, he went back. They went back to Fleury. Mhm.
Because now what's going to happen? Fleury's going to win or he's going to lose. If he's going to win, we're okay. We're okay. I mean, we still got a little bit of concern with him. Lose, and now you've got Robin Lehner going, well, screw you guys.
They're
I was
revisiting.
there, I got you a win, and you didn't put me back in.
They're revisiting the controversy from last year.
100%.
That's all they did. They reopened that can of worms.
Yeah, no, 100%. So it will be interesting to see what ends up happening tomorrow. I'm still of the opinion that game 3 should have been played on Saturday night, not Friday night, but you can't cry over spilled milk. The schedule was done the way it was done. It's silly. I mean, I understand why they don't want to play the game on July the 4th. There's much other bigger things that are in play, especially south of the border.
But
But
when do you not have a hockey playoff game on a Saturday or Sunday?
Well, and
That's what
that's
gets me.
just it. They shut down both those days. So if we're playing Monday and Wednesday in Tampa Bay, I have no problem with that. That's game, rest, game. No problem. Now you got to fly both teams. No change of time zone, but you do have to fly both teams to another country. So
Speaking
why
of
would
which,
they have given them 2 days to get that done?
speaking of which,
What?
is it fair for the Canadian government to not allow the families of if Tampa was to win it in Canada?
Okay,
Come
so
and celebrate?
let's look at 2 things there. Number 1, the fan base, the fans allowed into the Bell Center in Montreal, that's dictated by the provincial health.
It sure as hell looked like there were more than 3,500 people in that arena the other night. It looked like a hell of a lot more than 3,500 people.
Well, maybe they snuck them in, but they
I
were
don't know, but there was a lot more
3,500.
than I thought. There was a lot more than 3,500 people.
More
There.
like 10 grand to me. But
Yeah.
Don't forget, they also crammed them into the Olympic Stadium. They crammed them into a bunch of other outdoor spaces and indoor spaces. So they had a lot more opportunities for fans to be in attendance.
Yeah.
For game number 3. Now, the Canadian border, when you look at COVID-19 situation across Canada, there are areas where there's still a large concern, and there's other areas where it's starting to relax and get a little bit easier, and we're trying to get back to normal. British Columbia is one of those provinces that's getting back to normal. We don't have to wear masks inside anymore. It's optional.
You just got to find somehow to get AC in your houses because it's so damn hot outside.
God, don't even talk to me about that last week. That was insane.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that again a little bit later.
All right.
But the Canadian government has basically said that no, we're not opening up the border to non-essential travel yet. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
When the Montreal Canadian players are in the same situation. There are family members for the Montreal Canadiens that can't come into Canada, and Montreal has been on a Cinderella type story up till this point, getting through the Toronto Maple Leafs, sweeping the Winnipeg Jets, and then winning on home ice against the Vegas Golden Knights. Family members would love to be in attendance for that, but they can't because they can't travel. Is it fair? No, but in an attempt to make sure that the numbers don't escalate or get out of hand or whatever, you have to be able to follow a sense of some of the rules, and that's unfortunately that's the rule. So yeah, it is unfortunate. It's not as bad as the bubble last year,
Right.
but yeah, it is a little I can see why the Tampa Bay Lightning would be upset. Is that motive for the Tampa Bay Lightning to give up one game to go back home and win it in Tampa Bay? I would
No,
suggest to you that that never happens in the game of hockey, although I do have one story where the Montreal Canadiens actually did that.
let me touch base real quick. Are you surprised in the lack of line changes as far as
You mean-
lineups are concerned by the Canadiens? They're keeping the same lines together. They really haven't mixed it up at all.
There's been very, very small changes, and I will say this: games 1 and games 2, the assistant coach made his changes when he came in to cover for Dominic Ducharme against the Vegas Golden Knights. So of course he stayed with those line combinations. Then they ended up with Joel Armia not being able to play in game 1 because of the COVID. They got Jake Evans back, but I don't think he was ready to be back. Then they lost another player from the Montreal Canadiens. So again, now Armia comes back and Evans comes back.
Yeah.
So you're right that there hasn't been a lot of line changes. And I think the thinking there is hoping that the chemistry comes back, the playoff chemistry. And this is how I started the whole conversation today. The unfortunate thing with the Montreal Canadiens, they are technically, they're almost unapologetically playing like it's the regular season again.
Yeah.
This is what they were doing in the regular season. There wasn't really any. They're playing on home ice.
Do you
They're
think
only
that
down a goal after the opening 20 minutes. They're
Yeah.
very much in game 3, and it just falls apart on them. I just don't think that they played with the same oomph that they had getting there. Now, that stated, I will say this, and it comes from the heart. I cheer for the Habs. They did better than expected from the start of the postseason to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. Extremely disappointing if they can't pull this one out of the bag. You have players like Carey Price, who have put in 14 seasons with the Montreal Canadiens in the NHL, and this is the closest he's gotten to sniff the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Certainly, there's other players, speaking of which, some of them are already free agents or will be free agents come July the 28th. They changed the free agency date because of the postseason. So they've changed it to July the 28th. Normally, it's on July the 1st. Thomas Tatar, Eric Stahl, Philip Danault, Eric Gustafson, Joel Armia, Corey Perry, John Merrill. Those are the big names in the Montreal Canadiens. All of them are seeing ice time right now. Tampa Bay does not have that big, long list of free agents. They've kind of dealt with their free agency already. David Savard, Blake Coleman, Barclay Goodrow. Really, that's it for the Tampa Bay Lightning as far as free agency.
They signed and they signed their stars to long-term contracts a long time ago, a couple of years ago, and sealed them up for long term, so they wouldn't be free agents till after till years after the fact. So they, and that goes back to the previous general manager, Elliot. God,
who
was their general manager before the one they have now? He's back in Detroit. I can't think of his name.
Who? What team?
Steve Yzerman.
Steve Yzerman. Thank
Steve
you, Ron.
Yzerman.
That goes back to Steve Yzerman. He sealed the core players up a long time ago when he was GM. So, but yeah, I was curious because they were mentioning it on the broadcast as well that the line there hasn't been any changes to the lines. They haven't mixed it up. They're trying to get a spark going, and it really and they were commenting on that during the game the other night. So I didn't know if that was an issue or that was just because that's just the way they play. I didn't know.
Right. I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit about the free agency in the NHL, but the biggest name, Alexander Ovechkin, is a free agent.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, so this one's going to be huge. He had signed a 13-year contract with Washington Capitals way back when, obviously. But yeah, it's now come to a conclusion. His cap hit is $9.5 million, by the way.
You think he stays in DC, or do you think he goes somewhere else?
I mean, number one, here's the question: who can afford him?
Right.
He's still going to draw big bucks.
Right.
And number two, does Washington even want to risk losing him?
The Islanders can afford him.
John, you made mention the fact about the Bolts being 20 million over the cap. Is that what you said to me the other day?
Yeah, it's something like that.
They're 90 some odd $million right now. Yeah, they are over the cap. And I'm not sure how
Peters. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, I'm not sure how it works, but there's other teams that are paying some of that money.
Yeah, it's very annoying, but you know, it's like I was telling you, Scott. It's very easy to cheer for teams when they do things like this, right? Oh, we got a winning squad. Oh, look, because we could spend the most, a la Yankees. I mean, show me a team that suffers. You know, let me see a team that suffers, like the Canadians, okay? Who do have a lot of money in the bank, but don't necessarily always spend it.
Hey, John,
Even the Islanders, for example,
And the Blue Jays.
the Blue Jays, right? Like all these teams that actually have to earn this shit. So like and I'm not saying there's going to be an asterisk beside it, but it's one of those things in sports. I'm always kind of like, you know, like parity. Let's talk parity. That's why there's a salary cap. So why don't they enforce it? Like I don't get the NHL. Why wouldn't they enforce the stupid thing?
And just to be a contrarian, they don't always. It ain't always a winning formula to spend buku amounts of money on anybody. I mean, I can be a witness to that shit.
The Yankees have suffered for since 09 with spending all the money. So yeah,
Look, even in their heyday,
in place.
even in their heyday, George Steinbrenner used to spend like crazy. You know
and they were
what I'm saying?
terrible in the 80s. They were terrible in the 80s.
Great. No, they weren't any good from 81, which was their last World Series, until they made it in 96. They could have made it in 95, but they lost on that run by Griffey in Seattle,
Right.
Game 5.
Yeah.
And but they went in 96.
But they're always competitive.
Yeah,
Right?
they're
They're always in the playoffs. They're always in the hunt.
But you know what?
Now
You
find
have
me
a
the other
certain-
teams. That,
you have an
that-
obligation. You have an obligation. If you're a high revenue organization, that doesn't take away your obligation from providing your
but
fans
here you
with
go.
the
Here
best
you go.
product possible.
Here's the argument for that. The NFL, every single NFL team is a high revenue organization,
Mhm.
and they play under a salary cap, and it works. So why can't the NHL follow suit? Why can't
Because
these
the
caps
NHL
be
is run
hard
by
caps?
Gary Bettman and the NFL is run by Roger Goodell. Two different organizations. They have different philosophies.
Well,
that's
But
just the way
what
that
I'm saying
works.
is, what's the point of having a salary cap if it's not enforced?
Yeah.
It's
They don't even
window,
say there's a
it's
salary
called
cap.
window dressing, John. Don't you understand that?
They fudge
It's
the
window
numbers.
dressing.
It is enforced. It is enforced. But the problem is that these teams have all found loopholes.
Not just that.
Will
Not
trade
just
away a player and continue to pay that player.
Not just that, but they'll pay the penalty that comes with being over the cap.
The
But
NBA does that.
but with the NFL, you can't do that.
No,
You can't put
You
your
can
team
do it
on
in
the
every other
field.
league. Well, you can do it in every other league.
Every other league, and that's why the
Yeah,
parody's always an
It happens a lot in the NBA where they get that tax because they're
Yeah.
over the cap. Yeah.
Yeah, when the Yankees were over all the time, they used to have to pay. It's
There
what
is
they
no
call-
salary cap in baseball.
It's called a luxury tax.
Luxury tax.
When you
monopoly.
surpass your cap space, you know what
Yeah.
I'm
So,
saying?
anyways, I think the Canadians are getting hosed. There you go. I said it. Screw the Tampa Bay Lightning.
It's the only good team I got to root for, John. You know, to be honest, it really is.
I had one franchise since '93 win, so
Yeah.
I know about pain and suffering.
Yes, yes. As a lifelong Browns and Indians fan, I know pain and suffering all too well. So
Hey, I haven't seen a fucking basketball championship in New York since I was 11 years old. Okay, I'm pushing 60 now. Right? So I don't want to hear about fucking dragging shit on. Okay.
Ron,
I've never seen a
wanted
hockey
to ask you-
championship.
wanted to ask you something. The second goal that Price gave up Friday night was totally un-Jerry Price. I mean, he practically let it go right through his legs. He backed off and then watched it go into the net.
But have
And
other
that's
teams
pretty much that was within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game.
Hey, Ken, but
That's what Tampa Bay has done, is taken the Canadian crowd out of the game. And
Ken,
they had
in their previous games, though, did they have teams come all out of assault style the way Tampa has done with Montreal? Because I mean they've brought all the guns and unloaded them all, and they just it's like a repetitive freaking attack going on. And Carey Price is under fire constantly in all 3 games.
And the Bolts are getting behind their defense consistently too. They're getting right behind their defenders.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I said earlier the Stanley Cup final was the Islanders and the Lightning, because either one of those teams could have beat this Canadian team in this final.
I really, truly believe that it would have been a more entertaining
Yeah, if it was the
Stanley
Islanders.
Cup Finals had it been Tampa Bay and Vegas.
Okay.
I do believe that it would have been maybe not highly entertaining, but I believe it would have been worthwhile viewing.
More
and
palatable.
edge of your seat type experience had it been
Right.
the Islanders and the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh man, that goes back to the 70s.
Yeah.
I think what you have here with the Canadians and the Tampa Bay, you would have had if you had the Islanders and the Vegas Golden Knights as well. I think you would have had a lopsided series.
Mm.
I think it would have been in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Unless Fleury let a goal get in.
Unless he put one in himself. Yeah, exactly.
The Islanders
So-
might have come out.
So
of-
what are you doing about your weather situation there in
Well,
in
first of all,
BC?
I just want to say that we're not used to these temperatures, okay? Lots of our housing is not built with air conditioning because we don't really need air conditioning for a couple of weeks out of the year.
You guys
We
have more
need to make
igloos
sure
there,
that we're
can you-
warm for 6 months out of the year when the
Right.
temperature is below zero. Lytton, British Columbia, set the hot spot in Canadian record 3 days in a row, 46, 47, 49 degrees. And the next day, they burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
An entire community. Not a huge community, but that's besides the point. 300 people, maybe 500 people called that place home. And it burnt to the ground the next day on Wednesday, June
They
30th.
say most of the town got out of there, but I think there were a couple people that didn't make it out. I think
There
it's-
was a couple of deaths. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's scary. It really is. I mean, the thing is that we rely on the forest industry here big time. And forest trees, they burn. And when they burn, they burn. And we're seeing that in the Okanagan right now. Thankfully, there's nothing serious up in my neck of the woods, but we've had some pretty bad years. And we're looking at the weather forecast for the next little while, and we're talking Celsius, which is not Fahrenheit, but we're talking 27, 28, 29, 30 degrees straight through. And if we don't get a little bit of wetness in there, at any point, someone's stupidity or lack of better judgment is just going to send this, it's going to send our forest up in smoke again.
Yeah.
And sometimes these fires, they burn in the ground, which means that even rain won't stop them from
Yeah.
popping up and igniting. And
because they're
continuing
below
on.
ground. They're below ground, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just something to, kind of be aware of. 30 degrees for us. I mean, that's technically only 86 degrees, but
Right.
that's manageable. But when you're talking 40 degrees, which is what in my neck of the woods, we've never
Oh,
seen
boy.
plus 40. We've seen minus 40, but we've never seen plus 40. 40 degrees is just over 100 degrees. And that Lytton, 120 degrees Fahrenheit when they set the record on Tuesday.
Jesus. Good God. And it doesn't even get that hot down here in Florida ever.
It
And
gets
you're
that
dealing,
way-
you're,
hey,
you're dealing
it
with
get-
heat, and we got a tropical
it
storm
gets
headed
that
our
way.
way.
It gets that way in Vegas.
Yeah.
My first day on the job, I was working at a staffing agency, and my first day on that job, I went out to smoke a cigarette, and it was 118 degrees outside,
Yeah, that's
and I was
like
wearing a
48
long sleeve
degrees
dress
Celsius.
shirt with a freaking tie, dude.
Yep. Yeah.
Roasted.
And
You didn't have to
I
light
didn't
that
have to light
cigarette.
my
It lit it
cigarette.
for you, didn't
Hey,
it?
I didn't even have to light my cigarette when I went outside.
I get to drive to BC in the next 4 days here, so that's exciting. Hopefully, I'll dodge any forest fires, but
Oh,
Where do you got to go?
I'm
but-
going to Vancouver.
So you're going to have to make sure that you go from Jasper down to Kamloops and then the Coquihalla into Vancouver. You
Yeah.
won't be able to make it over to Highway 1 because that's where all the fires are. And you're still going to see some smoke. You might even see some flames as you go by Kelowna.
Yeah, I wouldn't go by Kelowna because I would go Jasper to Kamloops and then Coquihalla. That's the route I would take from here. But sometimes I go south to Calgary, right? But so.
Anyways, we're giving our American boys here a geography lesson in
Yes,
Alberta,
you are.
British Columbia.
Absolutely. And you guys are dealing with the heat and the fires, and Elliot and I got to deal with the tropical storm coming through this week. So
There you go.
Yeah, tropical storm. I think it's supposed to be in our area around 8 p.m. on Tuesday.
yeah. So
But-
and it happens to be tropical storm Elsa, which is the name of one of my cats. Good God.
and a
More
Disney
than one
and a
cat?
Disney fucking princess too.
Yes.
Two cats. Jeez.
I have two. I've had two cats for 20 years.
Hey, I just want to go on the record real quick before we take off because we got like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
I'm kicking off today the official "Let's Get Rid of Aroldis Chapman" campaign.
Didn't he get booed off the
And
field
and
today?
he got booed off the field. Yeah. Let me explain to you why. On Wednesday, we scored 7 runs in the first inning. We were up 8-0 at one point. We get to the 9th inning and it's 8-4. And Chapman goes ahead and gives up a tying grand slam in the top of the 9th. All right. The next guy came in, gave up 3 more runs. We gave up 7 runs in the 9th inning and fucking lost. Okay. Today, up 5-4 in the top of the 7th.
Hey, Jamal.
Because it's part of a double header. Okay. He's freaking throwing major heat up at the plate. Nobody can hit it. Then all of a sudden he throws a freaking slider to Pete Alonso, who promptly parks it up in the freaking bleachers. Okay. Tied the game. Then they lost it 5 runs later as they gave up a total of 6 runs in the 9th inning. Aroldis Chapman did not record an out today. That's 2 out of the last 3 games where he's given up the tying home run in the 9th inning. And over his last 9 games, his ERA is a pathetic 22.24. Get rid of Aroldis Chapman, please.
Bring in Joey Chestnut, man. That's the
Bring in
only
Joey
proper,
Chestnut, dude.
That's the
He'll
only proper
fire.
closer you can have, man.
And I'm telling
No
you,
one closes.
If he can't
more.
if he can't throw the ball, he'll be able to eat it really quick.
he'll eat something, but he,
Yeah.
you know, no, seriously though, man, it's time, dude. I think the Aroldis Chapman era is over. He was something at one point. Yeah, he went and helped the Cubs win a World Series, but then again, they were playing the Cleveland Indians, so that wasn't that big of a task. But you know, and then we got him back, and he was supposed to be the second coming, and he wasn't even the first coming once he came back because he's been getting shelled lately, and it's just pathetic. You know, you got 3 phases. Well, yeah, 3 phases of the game basically. You got pitching, hitting, and defense. And right now, I think we're the worst in all 3 categories. So, I love my Yankees, but fuck Chapman, fuck Boone, and fuck Cashman.
Elliot, you'll forgive us if we
No
do,
one.
we have no empathy for
Oh
you
no, I
whatsoever.
don't. Hey, I don't want no empathy. I don't want no empathy because I'm not a crybaby like you, Scott. When people talk about my team, okay? I take it because it's true. They suck right now.
We have no sympathy for the Yankees being bad whatsoever. It actually makes me feel good
Just
inside.
as
I know
mu-
it makes
just as-
Ken feel good inside.
And just as much sympathy as I have for the Cleveland Browns being the sorry ass franchise they've been twice. Twice. Okay, not just a bad franchise once, but
Oh.
twice. Okay, so I don't even want to hear it. Not from you. Not from you. You couldn't pick a winner if they gave you 2 winners.
If I still have time to throw in something that's hockey related.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Since the Montreal Canadiens are on the verge of being swept in the Stanley Cup Finals, the last time a team did that in the NHL is the Detroit Red Wings. But get this, in 1998, the Detroit Red Wings beat the Washington Capitals 4-0. In 1997, the Detroit Red Wings swept the Philadelphia Flyers 4-0. In fact, 1995, 1996, 1997, and 1998, 4 years in a row, the Stanley Cup Finals was won in a sweep. The New Jersey Devils over the Detroit Red Wings, Colorado Avalanche over the Florida Panthers, and then the Detroit Red Wings do back-to-back 4-0 sweeps of the Philadelphia Flyers and Washington Capitals.
One thing's for sure, the 1955 streak is over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That
Tell me,
antiquated.
Ron, does the series end tomorrow night, or did Montreal finally pull one out?
Well, I mean, I've been waiting for them to pull one out since game 2. And I just don't know. I mean, the only thing, the hardest game to win is the fourth and deciding game,
Right.
or the fourth win. That's just plain and simply the hardest one to do. The Montreal Canadiens have nothing to lose. They've got to, I don't think that they need to salvage their season, but they need to salvage their postseason, simply because there was so much hung on the Montreal Canadiens to get something for Canada to cheer about. So I think that the Montreal Canadiens can get it done tomorrow night, but I don't think that they can get it done over a 7-game series anymore.
And I'm not counting my chickens until they hatch, because I know the Indians gave up a 3-1 series lead to the Cubs back in 2016. So I know not to.
3-1's a lot different than 3-0, dude.
I understand that, but I'm just hoping they can pull it out tomorrow night. If not, bring it home and we'll do it. We'll do it.
I don't think they're gonna throw by any means any game for any specific.
No,
reason.
they won't. If you're a professional athlete, you
No
don't.
professional organization would allow that, except maybe the Chicago White Sox of 1918.
Right.
But it's like, I think that if pride is a factor, Montreal will win game 4.
Yes.
Because 28
totally agree
years
with that.
of not being there, and you get swept and you lose on your own ice, that'd be a even tougher pill to swallow than the loss itself.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's on home ice. If it's 7 games, well, it would be 6. If it was 6 games and you lose in 6 games, I think that's not nearly as bad
As a
you said,
sweep, no.
losing in 4.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to close it up for the week. Thank you again, Ron, for showing up and being here tonight. We appreciate it. We may have you back next week to talk about the fight, to recap it, but it's open. We probably
It'll be 3-3 by next week.
Okay. If it's 3-3, then
Either way, there's another 3 games between that here and then.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Next week will be Ron's. How should I say? Riding off into the sunset show, the last hockey show.
Yeah, hockey show. Of the season. Yes.
All right. So my bike's missing me.
Yeah, I hear you, Ron. Are you feeling better? Are you able to get back on the bike yet?
I've been on the bike a few times, but it's not safe for me to be riding on the road yet. I don't have the good stabilizer muscles in my legs.
Okay. Well, heal up, get better, so you can get back on the road. That'd be great.
Yes, sir.
All right, gang. We're gonna
Just
close
stay away
up shop.
from strange women with the signs on the side of the road.
Yeah, stay away from strange women with signs on the road. Yes.
And bears.
Oh my God.
And bears.
Yeah, watch
Yes,
out for the
and
Bears.
And bears, yes.
Yes.
They're-
All right, we're gonna close it up. Thanks, guys, for the show tonight. It was a good show. We're gonna be back here again next Sunday night at 7:00. Happy 4th to all of you in the U.S. And we will see you next Sunday. Elliot, hit the outro.
Gotcha. Hang on, just a minute.
Hopefully,
caught me
reaction.
off
We'll
guard,
see you
man.
next
You caught
Sunday.
me off
Elliot,
guard.
hit the outro.
Here we go. There you have it. Gotcha. Hang on, just a minute.
Now I'm hearing an echo.
Caught me off
We'll
guard,
see you
man.
next
You caught me
Sunday.
off
Elliot,
guard.
hit the outro.
Here we go. There you have it. Gotcha. Hang on, just a minute.
Now I'm hearing an echo.
Caught me off guard, man. You caught me off
Elliot,
guard.
hit the outro.
Here we go.
You want to try it again? We're getting all kinds of echoes there. He's muted
That
himself.
was the greatest
I know, right?
intro ever.
I know, right?
You should have just left it at that. That was perfect, man.
You're muted, Elliot.
We're gonna try it one more time.
And with that, fellas,
It was the Facebook feed that was interfering with my shit.
Ah.
right, let's try this again. Redo, mulligan. Here we go. Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, Nerd Nation. Another Sunday episode of the Sports Nerd Show in the books, and we're actually still live to tell about it. Now, on behalf of our hosts, Scott, the Sports Nerd, right? John, Bob, and Ken, the three other lovable members of the Ramp Pack, and yes, me, Big E. The entire pack would once again like to thank you all for participating with us in the best 90 minutes of sports smack talk on the web today. So until next Sunday night, dear nation, we want to leave you with a quick PSA. Please stay safe. Please practice social distancing. And for fuck's sake, please wear a fucking mask. You just got hit with a pack rant from the Ramp Pack. And with that, fellas, we are out.